Hello, everyone. Welcome to Celsius 233, your go-to place for fiction book summaries. Today, we will get lost in the pages of the Yellow Wallpaper by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. The Yellow Wallpaper is a short story written by Charlotte Perkins Gilman in 1892. This semi-autobiographical narrative is a powerful exploration of mental health, societal expectations, and the repression of women during the late 19th century. Gilman, a prominent sociologist and feminist, wrote this story to address the dangers of the rest cure prescribed to women experiencing postpartum depression or other nervous disorders. The story is both haunting and vivid, drawing readers into the protagonist's gradual mental unraveling while confined to a room with oppressive yellow wallpaper. Plot summary. In the quiet of the summer, the narrator and her husband, John, arrive at a colonial mansion they've rented for the season. From the beginning, there is a strange air about the place. The narrator muses about its peculiarities, wondering why such a grand estate has stood empty for so long, and imagines a history of mystery lurking within its walls. John, ever practical and scientific, laughs at her fancies. He is a physician, firm in his belief that his wife is simply suffering from a temporary nervous condition after the birth of their child. He insists that rest, quiet, and isolation will restore her health, forbidding her to write, socialize, or engage in any creative activity. The narrator, however, longs for something more for work, for freedom, for understanding. The mansion is large, surrounded by beautiful gardens and shaded arbors, yet the narrator is confined to a single room at the top of the house, once a nursery. It is a peculiar room with barred windows, worn-out furniture, and most disturbingly, the wallpaper. A sickly yellow with a chaotic, twisting pattern. From the start, she despises the wallpaper, finding it repugnant in both color and design. Its garish, sprawling forms seem to mock her as they run across the walls in uneven, suffocating waves. But John dismisses her concerns. He sees no harm in the room, considering it airy and full of sunlight perfect for her rest cure. As the days stretch on, the narrator grows increasingly isolated. John is often away, absorbed in his medical practice, leaving her alone in the room with nothing to do but observe her surroundings. She begins to notice the wallpaper more acutely, finding in it a sinister quality that unnerves her. The pattern is erratic and nonsensical, refusing to conform to any logic or symmetry. The more she stares at it, the more the shapes within it seem to move, crawling and slithering across the walls like some grotesque creature. A growing sense of unease fills her mind, but she dares not speak of it to John, who continues to assure her that her condition is improving. Night after night, the narrator lies awake, staring at the wallpaper by the dim light of the moon. The shapes seem to come alive in the darkness, twisting into forms that she cannot explain. She begins to imagine a figure trapped behind the wallpaper, a woman struggling to free herself from the confines of the chaotic design. During the day, this figure is subdued, but at night, when the house is quiet and still, the woman stirs, pressing against the walls, trying to break free. The narrator becomes obsessed with this vision, spending hours tracing the lines of the wallpaper, determined to unravel its mystery. John grows increasingly concerned about her fixation on the wallpaper. He insists that she is getting better, that the quiet and rest are working, but the narrator knows differently. She feels her mind slipping further into darkness, consumed by the patterns that swirl before her eyes. Yet she continues to write in secret, keeping a journal of her thoughts and observations, despite John's prohibition. Writing is the only outlet she has left, though it drains her of what little strength she has. As her obsession deepens, the narrator's behavior becomes more erratic. She begins to see the woman in the wallpaper not just at night, but during the day as well. She imagines her creeping behind the chaotic lines, trapped, much like herself, in a prison of domesticity and repression. The narrator feels a kinship with this woman, and as the days pass, she becomes determined to help her escape. She begins to pull at the wallpaper, peeling it away piece by piece, hoping to set the woman free. John, unaware of the extent of her fixation, remains confident that she is improving. He dismisses her complaints and treats her with the same paternalistic care that has kept her confined for so long. His sister, Jenny, helps around the house, and although she means well, she too views the narrator's condition as something trivial, easily cured with rest and obedience. Jenny often comments on how well the narrator is doing, how lucky she is to have such a devoted husband. But inside, The narrator feels trapped, suffocated by the weight of her husband's control and the oppressive walls of the nursery. As the final days of their stay in the mansion approach, the narrator's sense of reality begins to unravel completely. She is no longer just an observer of the woman in the wallpaper. She becomes convinced that she is the woman, imprisoned within the yellow walls. Desperately, she continues to strip away the wallpaper, determined to free herself from its stifling hold. She locks herself in the room, refusing to let anyone in, not even John. When he finally returns and demands to be let in, she tells him the key is outside, under a plant and leaf. When he retrieves it and enters, he is horrified by what he sees. The room is in disarray, the wallpaper shredded and hanging in tatters. The narrator is crawling around the perimeter of the room, following the long, smudged path she has worn into the floor. She tells him that she has finally escaped, that she has freed herself from the wallpaper and from the prison it represented. "I've got out at last," she says, looking at him with wild, triumphant eyes, "in spite of you and Jane. And I've pulled off most of the paper, so you can't put me back." John, overwhelmed by the sight, faints, collapsing in her path. But the narrator continues to crawl, stepping over him as she circles the room, her mind fully consumed by the madness that has taken hold. If you loved this, don't stop here. Check out other books by Charlotte Perkins Gilman. You'll find them below or on Celsius 233. Remember, while our summaries capture the essence, they can never replace the full experience of reading the book. If this summary intrigued you, consider diving into the complete story, buy the book, and immerse yourself in Charlotte Perkins Gilman's original work. Bye-bye, take care, have fun.